Hello everyone, thank you for attending this presentation. Today I'd like to talk about privacy in our end-user devices such as mobile phones, laptops, etc. First of all, what's the difference? Because some people don't distinguish the difference between privacy, security, and anonymity. Some people just mistake one for the other. So privacy is controlling who has access to your data. So let's say when you create or want to fill out a form, it can have an asterisk to provide your mobile phone. If it doesn't have the asterisk, you don't have to provide it. You're controlling who has access to your mobile phone. Security is ensuring that the company who's holding your data is ensuring that no one else that is not authorized to access the data does not have access to it. And anonymity is hiding your identity and trying to be as unidentifiable as possible. Some examples of these are Tor is excellent for anonymity. You can change the circuit at any time and you appear as someone else. Not only your IP changes, but there are 3 hops, so no one, not your ISP or the end user or the end website knows who you are. Google has excellent security because it's one of the biggest companies in the world. So the data that they have on the servers is encrypted. So hackers or other people who are not authorized do not have access to it. They have terrible privacy policy. I don't know who of you read the actual privacy policy. If you did anyone read Google privacy policy? Was it terrifying? Excellent. Okay, I like to hear that. Yeah, it is pretty terrifying. So I often hear the argument, I have nothing to hide. Why should I bother with privacy? It's dead. Who cares? That's invalid because if I ask you for your bank account number, will you give it to me? No, because why should you? It's none of my business to know your bank account. So would you give your home address to a stranger or to a Google employee? No. Why should they need where you live? They shouldn't need to know that. So by protecting your privacy, you can also protect privacy of your loved ones. If instead of Facebook Messenger, you use Signal, it's way better because they don't have access to your messages. Don't use SMS for sensitive communication. It's kind of legacy. Next, if anyone wants to scan, the first QR code is for Tesla, second for Google, third for Meta. It's where I got the sources. Tesla employees were caught being able to access the camera of the cars, and they had the option to spy on people, even during some intimate moments, which is bad, right? You don't want people to see that. Google, when it was COVID, one father needed to send a picture of his naked toddler to the doctor to know what's wrong about him, right? If he's ill or what's wrong. Google flagged it as CSAM, which stands for Child Sexual Abuse Material, i.e. child pornography. That's not good. And they logged his account. It was for a doctor. He still logged the account. Law enforcement was looking into it. They said it's actually okay. Google refused to give the account back. Meta, just this year, was spying on Android users using localhost. If you look into Google manifest.xml file in any APK, you can see what permissions the APK has. If it has internet permission, all caps, it means it can reach the internet. It does not ask you if you can. And if you allow it, it just does. So using some localhost servers, it could know what websites you visit. Okay, well, that's bad. Still, why should we bother? I don't care that someone looks into my SMS. Well, you can be manipulated using ads. If someone knows how you behave, they can create good ads to trigger, okay, well, this is actually not good. You should use this instead in ads. There was a study that girls that were in their teenage years and had period were really emotionally sensitive to these ads and were more easily manipulated than other people. There is a $1 billion industry to collect as much data about you as possible. So Google, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, all of these, they are trying their best. And an AI model can, if they know your internet activity, they can look into it and determine, okay, is he good or bad for a country? If you go to China and you're really pro-human rights, you could technically be refused access because that's not what they want, right? They don't want people to know about what's happening. So what can we do? We can use free and open source software where the F doesn't stand for price, but for freedom. You have access to the source code. You can modify it as much as you want. Or if you don't want to use FOSS, you can harden privacy whenever possible or needed. Good sites are GitHub privacy settings. That's the first QR code. Second one is Techler resources. That's the second one. Other sites are privacyguides.org or alternatives.net. If you have, for example, Adobe Photoshop, you can put Adobe Photoshop into alternatives.net. And if you toggle open source filter, it will show you only things like GIMP. That's open source. You can, well, you still have to pay the fee to Adobe, but, well, that's for another talk. You can also spread the word. If you have people who use Instagram for their DMs, who uses Instagram or other insecure messenger for their privacy communication? Now, who uses SMS? Okay, well, not good. You can use Signal because WhatsApp uses Signal protocol on its backend or as one of the things that it uses, but it has tracking. Signal doesn't. It's way better. I don't know why people use it. And you can support FOSS instead of big tech. You have Adobe, the subscription. Instead, you can give $5 to GIMP. It will really make a lot of difference. So what can you do? Front ends. Front ends still communicate to the sites you're using. So if you're using, for example, Invidious, you're still communicating with YouTube. But your front-end JavaScript is stripped. It doesn't have all the tracking. You can check it with uBlock origin that is empty, and all the other stuff. If you have Android, use NewPipe instead of YouTube. You can download the videos without premium. That's kind of neat. And you don't have ads. For Twitter or X, you can use Nither. That's also another one. For GitHub, you can either use GitHub, which you cannot use you cannot use it for pull requests or issues, but for browsing the source code, you can use it. And if you want to host your code, if you want it only for yourself, you can use Forgejo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, so excuse me. Forgejo, which you can self-host, or Codeberg. You probably saw it right here where there's Fedora and Red Hat. They have the sticker with Codeberg, so you can use that. Big talk today, right? AI, who doesn't use it? If you have, does anyone have any paid subscription? ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. Okay. Are you paying the $20 per month?
Actually, I don't anymore because my company is paying it now. But,
okay.
Just a few months ago, I've been paying for ChatGPT.
Okay. Instead of paying for the $20 or $200 per month, you can use API keys. That's pay as you go, meaning if you don't talk for it for an entire month, you have $0 on your bill. If you talk to ChatGPT 5 for the entire day, your wallet will be drained, but that's not my problem. OpenWeb UI is a UI that looks very similar to ChatGPT. I have it. I can show you after the presentation. A light LLM can be used to access not only ChatGPT, but Claude, Gemini, X, or Grok, right? And all of the other ones. If you want to use online, you can use Duck.ai. That's for ChatGPT, Claude, all of these. And it doesn't train the models on it, all of these. Proton Luma, does anyone know Proton, the company? Great. Do you use it? Okay, cool. They just released Lumo. That's on their GPUs and all of these. They actually, your conversation is encrypted up until the actual server, so not even Proton can see it. Yeah?
They are trying to interfere with what you're asking for, because when I'm asking for some, say, political questions, the Proton refuses to answer, while when it's AI, it does all of the answer. So they are scanning for the questions,
and there are so
they
many
see what you are asking for.
There are so many controversies around Proton. It's not as good company as it seems to be.
Okay, well, for me it looks good. I don't know. I read the privacy policy. I don't know. About the censorship, it may be about the model they're using. The model itself can be censored. DeepSeek and all of these, they can be censored. So it's not that Proton is trying to censor you, it's that the model itself is trained not to answer some sensitive content. Venice.ai is trying to be uncensored, giving you uncensored models that you can talk with. You can even download it on Hugging Face, that's the HF, so you can host it. Next, operating system. If you use Windows, why? There is no, you have literally spyware on your device. I'm not joking, you have Copilot on it, it scans everything every 5 seconds, and it doesn't even protect your passwords, all of this. If you want to use Linux, you can use Linux Mint or Fedora, those are some beginners friendly, so you don't have to touch the terminal, it's okay. If you want to use something intermediate, you can either tinker with your current distro, Linux Mint, all of the other ones, and if you want to do something advanced, you can use Arch. When you install Arch, you have a terminal, and you can install anything that you want. 90% of the software you have on Arch Linux is because you decided that you want to put it in there. If you have macOS, you can install something that's ARM-based, Fedora is ARM-based, and all of these, or they have images that are compatible with ARM chips. If I tried it once on Intel, Linux had a kernel panic, but it's probably my skill issue that I don't know how to install Linux. So, about Android. If you have iOS, you cannot refresh it with a different operating system. It's just how it is. If you have Android, if you have Google Pixel, it's a paradox, but you win, because you can refresh it, the bootloader can be unlocked. If you care, and if you want to know more, I have a Google Pixel, I have Graphene OS on it. So if you want to know something about it, you can ask after the presentation. If you have a different model than Google Pixel, depending on what you have, I think Samsung is pretty, they just locked it recently, but you can install a different operating system depending on your model. Otherwise, Apple or other devices, you can visit the GitHub privacy settings. Why Graphene OS? It is one of the most, if not the most, secure and private operating systems for Android. It has no Google, nothing, not even the I don't know how it's called, for notifications. You do not have notifications if you don't install it explicitly. You have network and sensor permission, which means when that, let's say, calculator app requests internet access. First, does the calculator need an internet access? Okay, maybe currency and all of these, but otherwise it shouldn't, probably because of ads, right? It wants to serve you ads. You can disable it. You can say you do not have network permission. And it doesn't give it error, but it just looks like you're always offline. You have sensor permission, which if you refuse compass, a sensor permission is going to be pointing still straight because it doesn't know where to get that information. USB-C, you can just, I have it set up so that if it's locked, I can only charge it. If I plug it into any computer, you can only charge it. I have to manually unlock using my fingerprint or code to have data transfer. And it's, you know, on Android there is such feature, but I have it on the hardware level. So the data controller itself is disabled. Other things, if you care, I can talk about it after the presentation. App stores. I'm going to actually start with iPhones because those are going to be a minute. If you're in the EU, which you are right now, you have, because EU requested Apple to be able to use third-party stores, you can use something like Alt Store or other ones. I don't know how many apps are on those stores, but you can. It's an option. If you have Android, you can use F-Droid, which only serves false applications, which means free and open source. Or you can use Aurora Store, which is privacy respecting. You don't have to use an account for the Google Play Store. You can install your WhatsApp, don't do it, your Instagram and all of the other ones using Aurora Store, and it will still download and install, but you don't have to log in with your account. Obtainium is when you want updates, but you want it for an APK. So let's say GitHub. You find a good application that you want to install. You don't want to click on that APK every month and check if it has an update. That's called sideloading, that you install an APK and install it manually. Obtainium checks every, let's say, 6 hours, 24 hours if there is an update. If yes, it will pull that APK and update the app. Exodus is an application that analyzes the APK and looks at permissions, trackers, loggers. It flags them if it finds anything. Plexus is that it looks if it's compatible, it's crowdsourced, so everyone can say it worked for me, it didn't work for me. It looks, you can look if the app works on the Google devices, such as Graphene, or MicroG, which is an open source alternative to the Google services thing. Next is browser. Who uses Chrome? That's good. Okay, I don't see any hands. Proud of you. You can use either Brave, which has ad blocking, you don't have ads, or YouTube, kind of good, or Chromium. It's what Chrome is built upon, but just added tracking. Brave also built on Chromium, but with the ad blocking and all of that stuff. If you're a Firefox fan, then you can either you can harden it yourself. So you edit that user.js file or the about config, all of these, and just ensure that it's private and secure. Or you can use LibreWolf, which is already pre-configured with all the options, letterboxing, and all of that is automatically turned on. Or if you want to use something else for a private window only, you can use Mulvad, which is, it doesn't have any history. When you close the browser, it forgets everything automatically. Or you can use Tor. The difference between Brave and Mulvad for the private window is that Brave uses what's called randomized fingerprinting. So every, let's say, 10 minutes, you appear as someone else. Your font might just slightly change, or something else in the browser changes. When you use Mulvad, you appear like you're a group. So that means that all users that use the Mulvad browser look the same. You cannot distinguish every and each user, unless you tinker with it, which you shouldn't.
Well, but since it's very minor browser, it's quite unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unique. So.
They are faking the header to be some kind of like Firefox browser, so no one knows that it is what browser.
Yeah, it still reports itself as Firefox. And Tor recently did something that is pretty bad, that all Windows users used to look like Windows, but they now changed the user agent and all of these so you look as Windows, Linux, which, yeah.
Yeah, but even when you make the Mulvad browser to look like something standard, then what I at least heard is that let's say the fingerprinting is usually done by stuff like order of fonts in your system or something like that, so you'll still be unique.
Yeah, but Mulvad is trying to standardize what's being shown and all of these. So you should look like everyone in the group. About search engines, you can see that I don't have Google listed as an alternative because it uses advertising, a lot of ads, all of these. You can either use Brave Search, which uses 100% its own index. I have good experience with it, other people may not. For example, for Czech sites. I have seen my family has problems with Czech sites, that something doesn't show up. You can use DuckDuckGo, which is, it's really well known now. Majority of it is from Bing. It has its own search index, and it has also specialized search engine for restaurants, sports scores, all of these. It requests other sites. Startpage is a proxy for Bing and Google, so it still requests Google results, but it shows you without all of the JavaScript and all of that. Mulvad Lida shows Google and Brave proxy, so it shows Google and Brave results, but in one place. You can also use SearchXNG, which you can host, and it's a meta search. So you say, you're gonna reach Google, Brave, Mojic, Bing, all of these, and it's all in one UI.
Regarding the DuckDuckGo, it means that when you listed the restaurant, that it automatically switch from the search engine? Or
Yeah, it should.
Yeah,
it should. Wrong keyboard. About VPN, who uses a VPN? Okay, what kind of VPN?
All of them.
Okay, cool.
I use Firefox VPN.
Yeah.
It's based on Bullard.
Okay.
I use Proton VPN. I use NordVPN.
Okay, good choices. Why should you use a VPN? First, you hide your IP address. If you ever tried a site like ip.me, you can see that they can see that you're from Brno, which is pretty specific given the entire globe. So it masks your IP address. It encrypts your entire traffic, so your ISP, O2, T-Mobile, and all of these cannot see what you're doing on the internet. And even though today everything is HTTPS, so no one can see what's inside of the HTTP body, they can still see the DNS requests. So you're going to Google, you're going to Facebook, I don't know. They can see it, which means that if they see that you're going to some sites that they don't want you to go to those sites, they can throttle your speed and all of these. VPN solves it by using their own DNS servers. So your ISP doesn't see anything.
May I to this topic? Internet providers, if we don't talk about the biggest one, if they don't have any resources or interest to spy on you, but who has these resources and are very interested in it are VPN providers. So this is completely opposite. Especially using free VPNs is not good for privacy, but the complete opposite. Only some trustworthy paid VPNs can be considered to be good for privacy, but generally advising people to use VPN is really hurtful.
That's true. If you use, the question was that, or the sentence was that you shouldn't use a VPN that's free because it can actually hurt your privacy. That's true. If the VPN is not trustworthy, so it's not in the business for X years, you shouldn't use it. There was a VPN that Chrome just killed from the web store as an extension because it was selling user data. You should use a VPN that's trustworthy. It can be paid. It's even better. And if it's a free VPN, it should be trustworthy because they're not selling your data. Yeah.
But this is you cannot have free VPN without business model.
Yeah.
If you have a free VPN, if someone has free VPN, he probably sells user data because how else he would finance pay the cost of the VPN. So generally, free VPNs are not trustworthy.
Yeah.
Maybe some very minor exceptions.
Yeah.
I would say probably best way is to have trustworthy internet provider at your home and run VPN gate here if you want to use some crazy public Wi-Fi you do not trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah. About the pro or the free VPN, it's true that they can have a different business model. Proton has, the application is open source, so you can see what they're sending. And also they have a different business model because they have paid plans. For example, I have the Proton Unlimited plan, which is $200 per 2 years. And so Proton is really trustworthy now that it is in the business for 14 years. And so, I trust it. It's not good to trust a different thing. You could technically host everything yourself, but it has a different business model. Yeah?
It is important to watch how they deal with the court records, or like in the court records after the card from the country asks for the data, usually it's published how what they received from the server, and for mobile IVPN and the Proton it's known that they do not disclose anything important. I think that AIVPN also do not disclose anything important, so it is necessary to track the record through the card system of some countries to see what they actually gave them while in the process, but it is delayed for, depending on the laws of the country, usually for a year or so.
Okay, next one is an email. You can use the two big known are Proton and Tuda. They use the same encryption algorithms, but Proton uses PGP for compatibility with Outlook supports it as well if you turn it on, which by default is not turned on, and not a lot of people change the defaults. That's known. So Proton uses PGP, which means that the subject lines are not encrypted or end-to-end encrypted. So Proton can see your subject lines, which can be sensitive. If you send, here's your password or what I'm going to do next week, it cannot be good for your privacy. Although the body and everything is end-to-end encrypted if you're sending something to a PGP receiver, so another Proton mail address or someone using Thunderbird or all of these. Proton has unlimited aliases, which means that you can use different email addresses for different services, and you can immediately turn them off or on if you want. I have 97 email addresses, by the way, and every single one is a different alias. I have one for my family, and then that's an actual email address, but the other ones, if someone starts sending me spam, I disable it, and I no longer receive an email. So unlimited aliases are in the ultimate plan, or Proton Pass. TudaMail uses the same encryption, or the same algorithm, but they have different encryption implementation, which means that even the subject lines are encrypted, end-to-end encrypted. So not even Tuda can see the subject lines. They have aliases, but it's more like the additional addresses with Proton, which means it's an actual email address. That's not like at simplelogin.com that it's known to be a disposable email address. It looks like normal email, so it's limited to 15. Password managers. Don't save it into your browser. It's nah. There is InfoStealer malware that is specifically targeting Chrome, Brave, all of these, and trying to extract all of the passwords. And if it's encrypted, they can just use GPUs to crack the password. Don't do it. You can use Bitwarden. That can be also self-hosted. So if you have your NAS, you can create your own vault and put it in there. Proton and Bitwarden also have their servers. It's end-to-end encrypted. They don't have access to it, all of that fun stuff. KeePass is offline. It's just one file, a database that has all of your passwords, OTP codes, and all of that in one file. It's encrypted. If you want to share it with a PC, you yourself have to do something like sync thing or something, how to synchronize the one file. You have to do it manually.
Do you know what is the difference between Proton Pass and Bitwarden?
Both of those are open source, but Proton Pass is first in the ecosystem of Proton, whereas Bitwarden is kind of only the Proton Pass. They have one or two other products, but Proton is trying to do this broad end-to-end encryption ecosystem. It bought the SimpleLogin company, so it has all of the aliases, and it's all under one UI. So it's the same thing. It's a password manager, but depending on which one you like Look and all that, you can choose.
So Bitwarden clients are open source, but server is not. But there's alternative implementation. Bitwarden
yeah.
is open source, and it works completely as a server.
Yep.
And what about 1Password?
1Password, if I'm not mistaken, is not open source. It's proprietary, and I believe it's also paid. I'm not sure about that. But it's proprietary, which means that you cannot inspect and audit the code. And I myself, that's a Google Pixel, I think, what I just heard. I know that notification sound. KeePass, you have to do a lot of additional work if you want to configure it. And KeePass DX is a client for Android, which is on F-Droid. KeePass XC is for Windows, macOS, or Linux. If you want to install Graphene OS, you can do it via the terminal. Not terminal, the browser. So yeah, browser, that's okay. They can do it. Cloud storage. Who uses Google Drive? Come on. Best one, right? Nice. Who uses iCloud? Okay. Do you have ADP, Advanced Data Protection, enabled?
I don't know.
No.
Okay. You do, because I set it up.
Can you set it up for me?
You can do it in settings, where you have the iCloud or your account. And I believe down at the bottom, it should be Advanced Data Protection. I have no idea how it's called in Czech. But you can turn it on. You have to remember, you have to write down like a UUID or something. And then if you save it, it increases the amount of types of things that it end-to-end encrypts. Your notes, contacts, all of these are end-to-end encrypted. Then, not on by default.
Really set it up.
Yeah, because I did it. You can use Proton Drive if you don't want to use something else. Tuta Drive is to be announced. It's not out yet. And if you use Google Drive, iCloud without ADP and all of these, you can use Cryptomator, which is when you have Mac OS and you have the Finder sidebar on the left side, you can put Cryptomator there as well, which is anything that's in the vault, how it's called, is encrypted. If you then visit Google Drive, you will see nothing, just random files, randomly named. You don't understand. That's also what Google sees. But you, on your Mac OS or something else, see the actual files, PDFs, and all of those. So, messengers, because no one should use SMS nowadays. If you want to have high anonymity, you can use SimpleX. It uses Tor for its communication or for its traffic. It doesn't require any ID, any email, not even random. You just launch the app and you can communicate. Signal is the most known, that it's a WhatsApp alternative. It's not an alternative, just WhatsApp had bigger budget for the promotion of it, so no one actually knows what it is. When I asked my friends who use WhatsApp if they use Signal, they didn't even know what Signal was, which is sad. If you use Android, you can install Molly, which is a more secure Signal fork, which means that you can shred the RAM when you exit the app, so it clears everything from the RAM. The database is encrypted, which Signal closed or stopped using after Android had the full disk or file-based encryption. So Molly just introduced it again. Matrix. Even OpenAlt has its channel. Matrix, if you don't know, is for decentralized communication, so no one, server or party, can just shut it down immediately. That's good. It's a protocol, not a client. Client is, for example, Element. It's like email. SMTP, it's a protocol. Matrix is a protocol. Thunderbird is a client. Element is a client. Thank you for attention. And if you have any questions, you can.
Somebody from this room said that Proton is some kind of distributor.
Yeah.
Why?
To be honest, I don't remember. I just remember that I had a discussion with someone about Proton, and I was also positive about it. And in a few minutes, he convinced me that it's not so trustworthy as I thought, but I really don't remember details.
Okay.
And wasn't that the case that they provided some metadata?
Yeah, IP address to friends. Both.
In some protests to police, yeah, but they could not avoid because they are under jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Every
Swiss
one.
Encrypted, so it is
Yeah, rest
impossible
was
to avoid
encrypted.
Yeah.
Metadata, it's probably that caused.
Proton, as a company, still has to obey the laws and has to object to actual jurisdiction. But because they don't have as much data, what actually happened is that about the protest, they look at the recovery email address, which was, I believe, at Apple at iCloud. They then reached to Apple and they gave them all the details. But just because you had recovery email address, they reached, or the law enforcement had to go through Swiss jurisdiction. They requested the recovery email address, which Proton has to be able to see, and they then requested the Apple to comply. Yeah.
When talking about the cloud storage, why not just to run your Nextcloud instance? That's quite
Yeah.
easy and works the best.
I thought it actually was in the presentation. I don't know why it's not there. But yeah, the other option is for cloud storage. You can use Nextcloud, which is self-hosted, and you determine how much storage you actually have. It's also a good one. Yeah?
These Infox just implemented some kind of cryptocurrency, and so 2 days ago they launched NFT, which I think is like really weird for this kind of like great like messenger.
Okay.
So it's like red flag for me.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know about it.
Projects like you got famous for implementing this. They're doing this for more than a year because it's trying to somehow protect their services from like abuse. But I don't think so. It's the right direction, and they launched it like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
It's also like new for me.
Who I didn't hear it.
Simple X,
Simple.
which is the messenger.
And in the presentation is several times mentioned Proton and Tuta. And these are the similar companies like which provide the same way, like Tuta Drive, Proton Drive.
Yeah.
This is the same? Or
Organize on email and contact list.
Yeah.
okay.
And Drive will be soon.
And both companies, Proton and Tuta, do not allow you to create SMTP login, so it's almost impossible to connect like some kind of private mail server to it. So there's also disadvantage.
Yeah.
It's not possible to connect anything else.
Okay, got it. Great.
Several notes about KeePass. In the slides you say that it's kind of complicated. I
Yeah.
disagree because I set up KeePass to my dad 2 years ago, and I was a bit nervous that he will actually not use it and still write passwords on paper. But he actually started using it, and he was very happy about it.
Yeah, the difference.
It's really, really easy to use.
The difference
about,
is.
About synchronization. When you have any synchronization tool like Nextcloud, iCloud, whatever,
Yeah.
it's just a file you put on this
Yeah.
drive. And it's done. There's
Yeah.
nothing complicated about it.
Yeah, but I meant that the one that requires work is KeePass itself.
Yeah, but it's legacy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if you want to use KeePass itself, you have to do some kind of configuration. But these two clients are pre-configured. These are different applications that use the same thing, but try to simplify the launch and everything, so it's pre-configured with all of the details.
Yeah, it's maybe a bit confusing because KeePass, the one is legacy already, and KeePass XC builds on KeePass format, but its own format. It's built on it, but it has some additions, so it's not
okay.
just a client for KeePass.
Okay.
By the way, KeePass XC is one of few open source password managers that are actually audited. There were some security audit, and it passed without any issues.
Okay.
Because I tried several times KeePass on the different machines. And first was KeePass, and second was KeePass X, and I was not able to open the old database.
Yeah,
Because,
they changed the format.
Yeah.
KeePass XC is able to import the old format, but as I said, it's not just a client for KeePass because it has its own format, but it evolved from KeePass, from the original KeePass.
Okay. And if you want to know that this, if you see it, this is the Open Web UI thing. So you can actually still, right here, you can connect OpenAI into it, throw API key into it, and that's the way how to, I'll actually zoom it in. Right here, you can put right here, you can put where is it? Okay, you can put the openapi.openai.com thing here, and under it you can put the API key, and that's the way how to make it way cheaper. This, though, is not api.openai. This is the LLM, light LLM thing, which in models, you can just do add model, and right here you have all of these providers that you can connect. So OpenAI, you can just do that, and right here you have all of the, oh, I thought there was a drop-down menu.
It is executed on your notebook, or?
No, if I actually did this, I would be asking OpenAI for the completion. These that I have right here, these are my models that are on the machine. They are installed on this machine. So when I launch something, this thing will start flying because of the fans, and this thing will actually run on the GPU. It is really loud, by the way. When I, hold on. No, I'll show you. I'll show you. This is uncensored. I would just. This is not that I was actually trying to do hacking, by the way. I was just testing the how uncensored is it. But if I relaunch it, regenerate, you'll be able to see the GPU right here. That it has 12 gigs. Now it is at 11. And this thing, when you give it a second to load into my GPU, it should start be really, really loud. Because it's also connected to the AC, so it knows that it can go into performance mode.
And did you try it on the macOS?
It is slightly slower than an actual GPU because it has all the unified memory, whereas NVIDIA has its own thing. I think we're starting to get the fans. It is starting to go with the fans.
I see.
Now you can probably hear it.
Yeah.
And I did this when I had a lecture. An entire row in front of me started looking behind who has all the fans turned on. And yeah, so see, having this at a lecture, it's not a good day. Yeah, so, yeah, this is it. Yeah, I can say that models are pretty dumb if you throw math at them, but I was actually able to use this for school, this chat. This was able to calculate math correctly. That was DeepSeek, that's the thinking model. So you have right here that it thought for 3 seconds and what it did. This is also on my machine, and given the fact that it's only 9 or 10 gigs for a model, it's pretty smart. Or it thinks about it and then actually provided me with the answer. So I don't use chat or anything like that. Yeah?
Just there's one thing that one had to do with this web UI, and that is to prepare your own the environment for the agent. So you have to tell him how he should behave, because otherwise it is, I think, based on the API, sometimes completely unguided. And so it's like more work to set up this fully with the API than just use the events AI.
Yeah, but well.
Like the system prompts prepared and all the configuration parameters prepared for you in the from service.
Yeah.
Here you have to choose like sometimes many little details to make it work quite smoothly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, on all of my models, I have the system prompt is empty. I don't have anything in that, and still it does its job pretty well. But the good thing also is that if you use, or bad thing, if you use ChatGPT.com, they have the right to collect it, all of the data. Whereas if you use an API key, you only are communicating with the model, but everything is right here in this UI. I can just export this model in any format I want, and I can put it somewhere else. So I have much more control, even if it's just ChatGPT or something, just other model. I have control over what I'm doing with the chats, because the chats are in database on my system. I'm just using someone else's GPUs. So.
When you have a company organization account, I don't know how they call it, then they claim that they don't collect your data. It's the reason why my faculty created an organization on ChatGPT and give it to some employees, because they were using ChatGPT anyway, but giving our data to the cloud. So it was better to give him this type of account that at least they claim that they don't use it for learning models.
Yeah, we use in our firm we use the cursor with several models, and there was some NDA in the closure where they will not use our
Train and bundles.
Yeah, to train the metrics.
If you have,
When you're a big company, you can get a license for running the GPT in your own data center.
Yeah, but the data center is quite expensive than something like, okay, we will not call it
That's what my company
oh
is.
man,
But how do you validate the NDA?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good point.
That's, I can give it to sign something now.
This is not related to this presentation. We
See,
agree,
VPN.
we respect.
This is, by the way, the Graphene OS. It has so many features. So I can't even zoom on this to fit it in. Oh, I can't even zoom. Oh, hold on. This is all that it has. Okay, so network permission toggle, which you can see what it does. TLDR, if it has internet permission, upon installation, when you have install the app, there's a toggle. Do you allow this app to request network permission? And on Android, when you do like app info, what kind of permissions it has, contacts, phone, SMS, all of that, there is a network. You can just disable it. And then your app will complain that it cannot do anything. So when I'm online and disable my bank internet access, it will just complain that I'm offline and I cannot connect to it because I refused access. So you see that when the internet is disabled, Graphene will just pretend that it's down. Other things are, there is sandboxed Google Play, so you can install Google Play, so the services and all of that. It's sandboxed, normal app, no better permissions that it doesn't need and all of these. If you want to know how to know the permissions, you can either just request it on like APK mirror or something, or you can decompile the app on the terminal using APK tool. You can just do it.
Private space within the Android, so one can have my services within small private space that can be off all the time and it will start on their own.
Yeah, there are, which is, this is the USB-C thing, that it's either off, charging only when locked, and all of these. The off means that you cannot even charge the phone, but this is disabled when it's completely off. When shut down, you have to charge the phone someday, okay? So, so yeah, it's where is it? There it is. More user profiles. Android gives you user profiles, and iPhone users, you don't even have it. Bad. But you can have user profiles, which is a completely different user, quote unquote. So it has its own applications, its own everything. And Graphene, it has one, what's called owner, which has access to like network settings and all of these. Graphene raises from 4 users, which means guest plus 3 users, to 32. I have 8, maybe, user profiles. One is for messaging, one is for web browsing that I don't use anyway because I have a laptop. One is owner profile that I only do like config stuff on it, and all of these.
How does it work? It means that you have to log in, log out, or use it somewhere else?
No, right now I have messaging enabled, which means if someone messages me on Signal, I still have the notification. There is notification forwarding. So right now I'm in my owner profile, which is for configuration and all of these. And if someone messages me on Signal or Molly, I receive the notification and see that it's from a different profile. I can immediately switch and see the message. There is a button end session, which means that it just clears the encryption keys and everything, and it's offline. There's nothing running on it. So you can also disable applications, which is not possible on normal Android. You can either force stop the application, which when some other application requests, how is it called, a method or activity of the application, it is started. Or you can just uninstall it. But Graphene adds the disable thing that's on Android for system apps, which means that the app is still on your phone. It's not visible in the app menu or anywhere, and it cannot be run at all. You have to enable it again.
I think this is standard feature of Android, because I know that also on Samsung you can disable applications that are in, for example, part of the ROM that cannot be uninstalled. You can still
Yeah, but that's the system apps. You cannot uninstall them, and therefore you can only disable them.
Yeah.
But normal apps, Instagram, you cannot disable it. You can either force stop it, which can be woken up by other application, or uninstall it. That's all. So one bad thing, because Graphene doesn't have any Google services, it doesn't have TTS, which means your navigation will be silent, which mine is. So I have to watch it. There's one time that I actually didn't watch the navigation and went past a turn. It didn't talk. And there is no notifications. You have to explicitly enable the Google services to have, because all of the application have notifications handled via Google. Firebase. Yeah. Someone called it, when someone is using Firebase, there was one person that called it, please like a hack me thing. That Firebase is called, please hack me. So.
There's still no third-party notification service?
You have to implement it on your own. Molly does direct connection to Signal. That's why I have notifications. Tuda uses its own thing, but Proton on my device will not work because Proton is being handled via Google Play or Google Firebase. So that's. Yeah, but the push notification is handled via Google.
Yeah, but there is a unified push. So
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. You can use unified push and all of the notification forwarding, all of these. So that's good. So thank you again for your attention and have a nice day.